welcome to Board Games with Niramas. I'm Joseph and this is Draco, of course, and we are here today to bring you another segment of this top 50 games of all time. And this time we are going to go from, 20 to 11, of course. And so it's really hot games now for me, games that I really enjoy, really like. I like all these games, of course, in the top 50, but we're getting close to the really top 10 part. And that one is going to be next week, and it's going to be together with some other guys on the channel, so that's going to be exciting as well to do it. We can comment on each other and so on, which could be really fun. And I know that Draco will also do his own list together with Martin, so that's something I'm looking forward to see what Draco likes in games and see what Martin has in his top 10, so that's going to be cool. So let's see, we start of course with number 20. Number 20 is Nations. Nations is a Euro style game, as most games on my list are. Nations, you have sort of a nation that you're going to build up by having workers that will do different things on your buildings. It's sort of a worker placement, but you don't go into a common market of places to work on. You have your own buildings. And it's kind of hard in the way that the game is kind of rough. I mean, every year or every era, you have these event tiles that says how harsh the famine will be, how much food you need to have stored, and things that happens and so on. So a really tough game it can be, but it's really fun once you get the hang of it. It's not that complicated to get into, but then to learn it, I mean, the basic mechanic is card drafting from an open display. So you have a display of cards and you take turns picking from that. Well, you have to pay for the cards as well and so on. But there's a race there to try to figure out, I need that card, but my opponent might need that one, and that would hurt me, so I need to take it before he does. Really fun game. I really like that one. It's on the longer side in playtime, but it's really cool. So that's Nations, my number 20. Now my number 19 is Star Wars Rebellion. It's a two-player game, and it's, as I know that Tom Vassell said on the Dice Tower, it's Star Wars in a box. So you have this box and you have everything in there. You have the ground troops, the stormtroopers, you have the heroes, you have the AT-ST, and you have the different X-Wing and Y-Wing, all that stuff. They're all in that box, and you're going to have this huge map with all the planets. You're going to fight each other. But it's not just a fighting game, because then it wouldn't have been that high on my list. That's not my type of games. It's a sort of deduction game for the Empire player needs to figure out, before time runs out, where the Rebel hidden base is. The Rebel, on the other hand, needs to distract the Imperial player and sort of make him focus on other stuff so that he doesn't find the base in time. And they can also move their base if need be and so on. They can build defenses at their base as well. So really cool game, really amazing. I haven't played the expansion yet. I just got it. It's on my, it's on my shelf here. That's something I look forward to play. And from what I heard, it really improves the combat section of the game, which I think is good already, but I think it's going to be even better now. So, Star Wars Rebellion, that's a really cool game, and that's my number 19. My number 18 is Mansions of Madness 2nd edition. This one I really enjoyed. I played it a lot solo. It has the app that sort of, it's a really good app, really good app. I mean, I think even if you're cautious about apps in board games, you should check this one out, because you're still playing the board game, but the app is sort of keeping track of all the boring stuff, like how much health does the monster have left and all that. Because it's the Cthulhu universe, of course. I get the exact same feeling in this one as I get in, for instance, Arkham Horror, the card game. You can move around with your investigators and you look for clues and all that. And there's really cool stuff in it that you couldn't do without. I guess you could. I mean, in Mansion of Madness, the first edition, you did this as well with the puzzles, but it's so much easier to have an iPad or whatever and do these puzzles where you move around stuff and all that. Yeah, really fun and really thematic. You get these noises when I choose to open door, and it's like a door opening in the app. I love that stuff. You have the music in the background, and yeah, just amazing. So that is Mansions of Madness 2nd edition. That's my number 18. My number 17 is this one is a sort of combination of three games, because it's Legendary Encounters, and I really enjoy these games. Now I would say I have to mention then that Alien is my number one, and then Firefly, and then Predator I think is my bottom one, and that's mainly for the artwork. I don't like the artwork in Predator, but Alien is so cool. I just love that game. I did a whole solo series that you can check out here of it. Yeah, I really enjoy that. It's so thematic. I love the Alien movies, of course. So it's a deck builder, and it's sort of like you play a movie. So the first movie in Alien, or first scenario, is the first Alien movie. So everything, you know, the cards, everything happening, the events is going to be related to the story in the movie. And I would say you can enjoy this game even if you don't, even if you haven't, for some weird reason, you haven't watched Alien movies or the Predator or the Firefly TV series. You could still enjoy this game because it has really solid base mechanics, really fun. Really sort of, it's a really good cooperative game where you have to work together on someone else's turn. I can coordinate with them. When I play solo, I play two-handed, so my guys can coordinate with each other. Wow, this game. Legendary encounters, Alien or Firefly or Predator, depending on, I think, theme mainly. So that's my number 17, and now we go to number 16, and that is Saloon Tycoon. Saloon Tycoon is, as it sounds, you build your saloon and you're trying to have the best saloon in the western city. You're in a little town. Really fun, where you also have this unique, I think, well, maybe not unique, but it's rare, where you build something but you build in 3D. So you have these tiles and these cubes, and then you put them on top of each other and you put the roofs on top, so you're actually building a little building, which I really like. I like stuff like that in games. As you might have, you know, I like in Tolkien, as I mentioned earlier, or Amerigo, where you have these physical things in the game. I like that. I think that's why I tend to enjoy board games more than card games. I think it's because, sure, a card can tell you that this is whatever it is, but having the little cubes and wood and plastic and doing this, that's something I really enjoy about board gaming. I mean, otherwise I could go play computer games, right, if I just wanted to have an image of it. So Saloon Tycoon, it's a really cool game, and it got an expansion that I got to do the Kickstarter video for, and you can check that out there as well. That's coming now in December, so I really look forward to see the final product. I only had a prototype of that, the ranch expansion, it's called, where you also have a little ranch on the side of your saloon. Really fun game. So that's my number 16, Saloon Tycoon. My number 15, and this is going to sound a bit weird, but it was 2 last year on my top 10. So how did it drop to 15? Well, it's hard to say why without being spoilerish, but it's Terra Mystica. Terra Mystica is in itself a great game. Wonderful game, one of the games that really impressed me the most in my board gaming days. Terra Mystica has such a solid gameplay and so much fun, and I love how it makes my brain work. So it's a great game, and the only reason it's dropped from number 2 is that there's another game out that sort of does the same thing but better. I didn't think that was really possible, but now that I played the new one, I can really see that, okay, Terra Mystica did lack some stuff. It could have been done better, and it's done better now because the next one is out. Okay, then we go to, well, that was my number 15, Terra Mystica, and now we go to number 14, This War of Mine. This one is new as well, and this one is a bit special. I was very, very cautious to if I would like this one or not, because I played This War of Mine on my computer, I think 200 hours or something. I love that game, and then I felt like, okay, it's a board game coming, will I enjoy it? You never know. Will they make it, will they make it in a good way that it will sort of represent the same, it will get you the same feeling that you had in the computer game, and it does. This War of Mine is just an amazing game. I solo play this when I get the time, maybe by the time you watch this, I'm not sure. You might have seen some solo plays through the videos as well, but if you haven't, it's gonna come somewhere in the future. And This War of Mine is about a war where you're not a soldier, you're the civilian trying to survive. It's a really serious theme and really terrible things happening in the game. You sort of have to go into it with the mindset that this is a game. it might not be that fun in the way that I'm not sitting around laughing. Or I might even do when I play this with Martin. We sort of got this, you know, dark humor where it was so absurd, it was so terrible that you almost have to, you know, joke about it, because how can you handle it otherwise? And the thing I really like about this game is, and it goes for the same goes for the computer game, it raises awareness about in sort of the upcoming generation, in the generation that's in that age now that plays these games, about the world and how the world could be, how the world actually is for a lot of people around the world. Right now they live in this situation, and of course you could say that's weird to sit around in Sweden or in some other safe country with food on the table and you know, whatever, and play this as an amusement. I can agree with that point of view, but I think you need to go into it with the correct mindset, because this is not a party game. You're not going to have fun in that sense as you're doing this, but you're going to get a lot of feelings. You're going to get touched, which is amazing that a board game or a computer game can really do that to you. You can get this. You really get attached to the characters. You really care about them. Amazing. This War of Mine, that's my number 14. Number 13, and now it's all about fun. Well, sort of. That's Hero Realms. So Hero Realms is a follow-up to Star Realms, of course. I didn't put Star Realms on my list, even though I like Star Realms as well. But I like Hero Realms better because it has the characters and it has the theme and the artwork. I love the artwork. I mean, the artwork in Hero Realms, for me, that's a 10, out of 10. It's so amazing. I ranked Hero Realms a 9 out of 10, the game on Board Game Geek. Hero Realms is a deck builder where it's a deck builder where you fight each other with different characters, and you play cards and you're trying to kill each other. But there's also an expansion that was recently released, and that is bringing co-op and solo play into it, and where you can play together or solo against a boss and do a little story, where the story snippets of text. Oh, it's such amazing. That is so much fun. I love that co-op part of it, and I love the base game as well a lot. So that is Hero Realms, my number 13. And so number 12, and now we're really getting close to the end here, and that is Anachrony. Anachrony came out early 2017, and I played it a lot of times solo. I played it a few times as well with other people, of course, but I like it both ways. Anachrony is a worker placement heavy Euro style game, but it has this amazing theme of time travel, and I love the artwork in this one as well. It's so beautiful with the whole clean artwork. It's a lot of white. It's a lot of I like that stuff. So in Anachrony, you might need in round 2. You might need something, some materials or whatever, some resource. Then you can sort of get it from the future, from your future self, but then you have to pay yourself back, because if you get it from round 6, let's say, then in round 6, well, you don't specify which round it is, but then in the future you need to send that resource back to yourself, because otherwise you get a paradox, right? I love that stuff, time travel and worker placement and beautiful artwork and beautiful components. Anachrony is so amazing. I have done a run before, so you can check it out up there. And this is one that I want to play a lot more in the future. But it takes a while, and it's kind of heavy to pull out on the table as well and set everything up. I have all the expansions and everything. So that's why it's a bit hard to bring for just, we have 3 hours game night. You can do it in 3 hours for sure, but then you're doing that focus, bring it up, play, and bring it down. Usually it tends to go towards more lightweight games when we do that. So Anachrony, my number 12. I really recommend that. And finally for this list, and number 11, just missed the top 10, and there's a reason for that, but my number 11 is Caverna, the Cave Farmers. Caverna is, of course, Rosenberg's dwarves living in a cave, and they also have a field outside, and they're going to excavate the cave, and they're going to build rooms and tunnels and mines. And outside you build these, of course, you have animals, you find pigs in the forest and all the stuff, and you have fields that you grow crops on, and it's all about getting points and it's worker placement style. You go out with your workers, the little dwarves. They can go on adventures if you get them some weapons first, or helmets actually. And then on the adventure, they might find a cow in the forest, or pick some mushrooms, or whatever adventure a dwarf can do. So it's really cute, really fun game. Really, I love the theme. I love the gameplay. I love pretty much everything about it. Perhaps I'm not that fond of. It has it has a tendency of going towards the people that played it the most. And you can't be too tired when you play it, because you have to sort of have an idea of what buildings are out there that you can build, or rooms. And there's a bunch of them, and I've been playing this on 5 people, which I enjoy actually, but I mean, you have to, what buildings are there and what do they do and all that. And that's why it's not in my top 10, which, spoiler, maybe it's Big Brother is, which you don't have to watch over there. You have your cards in your hand. But let's not talk about that. That comes in the top 10. But Caverna is my number 11, and I really like it. And so, yeah, we're done with this part, Draco. Now I'm going to get some company for the last 10. And also, it's going to be very exciting to hear what the other guys have in their top 10s as well, because we do vary a bit in game taste. So I hope you enjoy this top 50 and another segment and all these 40 games that we've been talking about. And I hope that I will see you again, or you will see me and Draco and the other guys in the top 10 that comes soon. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening, morning, or whenever you're watching this. Take care. Bye bye.
Breathe in. Look into these eyes. Subscribe to the channel. Now, exhale. Board Games with Niramas is sponsored by Alara Games in Sweden.